Good morning, Michigan Ultimate Survivor League members. I, of course, am James L. Seagraves here on this beautiful Sunday morning where the rest of my family is still sleeping. So, not my normal crazy loud attitude, I guess you could say. Exuberance, if you will. So, we're going to kind of keep it kind of mellow and we're going to keep it kind of short. Had a really busy week. We did a barcade night on Friday, did the zombie walk on Saturday. So, we were prepping for that, so... But after this week, it looks like no more events for a while. Well, at least until the 27th of October. If you want to come to a Halloween party, that's the one to go to. So, anyway, haven't done a lot of preparation for this. So we're going to kind of wing it like I did last week, but it turned out okay. So we're going to start with the top 15 in the nation. So here we go. Let's see here. Go up to this form here. All right. So let's start at the bottom. Let's start at the bottom. Then we can make our way here. I like Flaccaroni and Cheese. Jim Talipis. I don't know how to say your last name. Tapeless, almost winless is what we should call him, as he's 1-4 with a staggering 311 points. Chiz Nasty, TD's Right Meow, Fly Eagles Fly. You got a whole bunch of these guys. Giggle Giggle, A Team Has No Name, True Blue Wrecking Crew, Password is Taco, New Orleans Rock Chucks, Malin Incorporated, and of course my own Providence Power are all 1-4 and 0-2 in the conference, which is why I stopped there, because that's bad news for everybody. That being said, I do have more points than anybody else in this sad group. So that's where that is. Now let's go. We'll start with, look at the top 20, we'll go to, looks like number 17 is where we get to the really good position people. Even though they're not ranked officially on the site, you won't see the numbers in front of them. But Nasty Nutria coming back here, riding a 2-game win streak, 3-2 and 2-0 in conference, as well as the Dublin Drunk, same thing, 3-2, 2-0 in conference. Now we get to the top 15 teams in the nation. Old Papa's players, speaking of players, 3-2 with 382.62 points, separated only by a third of a point by Vic in a Box, fresh off their surprising victory over the number 2 team in the nation. Toon Squad, 3-2, 400 points. Donkey Punchers, 3-2 with 418. Your Mother Likes My Defense, 424. Uncle Rico, now we're in the top 10. 3-2 with a 450.93 point total. Now, a little bit of separation here as we get into the 4-1 teams. Number 9, Riverside Rage and Rancors, 4-1. However, 1-1 in conference is why they're at the bottom of the 4-1 teams, 387.72. And then we have Steel City Sackers, 4-1, 1-1, and 404. And Melissa's Meatballs, both of these teams lost last week, by the way. 420.76. So a little bit of an edge there. Going number 6, we have Granny's Baloney Curtains, 4-1, 460.63. So there's a big jump there in points. And then we have Squadrels, 4-1. We're in the top 5 now, ladies and gentlemen. Number 5, we have the Squadrels, 4-1, but 2-0 in conference with 428.13 points. And then we have the Tenacious D, riding a 2-game win streak, 4-1, 2-0, and 459.23. The top 3 in the nation, there are only 3 teams left that are undefeated, people. The Black Hole, 5-0 and 2-0 and 5-game win streak. Obviously, they're 5-0. 364.4, though. That's crazy, because you look down here, look at these point totals here. All these teams have losses. In fact, some of these teams have 2 losses, and they have way more points than the Black Hole. So, they're just, lucky, I guess. Maybe. They have the right matchups at the right time. Number 2, you had to scroll up and get 2 at a time, so spoiler alert. Patch Chiefs number 1. Play with Mike Ditka, 5-0, 419, and the Apache Chiefs, 5-0, 472.53. That's good for first place amongst all teams, folks. So, look at this. Hernandez Hitman, 1-4, 402 points. And what's that? Rob Bradley, 5-0, 364 points. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Hernandez Hitman's got a hell of a lot more points, but he's only got 1 win compared to an undefeated team. So, that's interesting. Yeah, so let's take a look at the conference breakdown, shall we? All right, so here we go. The Jeff Lebowski Conference. You got the number 1, number 9, and number 10 teams. Also have that nasty Nutria on the outside here because she's 2-0 in division. Hey, my coffee's done. That's cool. 5-0, 4-1, 3-2. So a little bit of an edge there for KLC Graves' Apache Chiefs, but not gigantic, but still better than half of these conferences we're about to break down for him. Not for the rest of the conference, only for him. Kirk Lazarus Conference, way tighter conference so far. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams that are 3-2, 2 teams that are 2-3, and then 3 teams that are 1-4. But even those 1-4 teams in this conference, definitely not out of it. Giggle, giggle. Don't be getting all upset. Your brother likes my defense, and old Papa's players both, and the Dublin Drunks are all 2-0. So that's very tight division there. We'll be watching that one. I mean, I don't know. I haven't looked at the schedule yet. We're going to do that together live, so we'll see. Ron Burgundy Conference. Melissa's Meatballs, 4-1. Is that your final answer? 3-2. Women ruling the roost there, no doubt. But then there is an ass load of 2-3 teams. Look at this. Kakambas, Cloacal Kiss, Bare Naked Tigers, Honolulu Blue Balls, Brady's Balls, that's a lot of balls, Trump Up the Volume, and Don't Know Yet are all 2-3. And then there's one Sticks It In Ya, 1-4. So even though it's kind of, there's one 4-1 team, there's a lot of room for wiggling here. 2-3 teams have a shot for sure in this conference. You then get down to the Jeff Spicoli Conference, the Black Hole, and Squadrels 3-5. Only ranked teams in this conference, but you have 5-0, you have 4-1. Then you have 3 3-2 teams, 99% luck, 1% heart, and Irish Shamrocks and Nantab Knights, all definitely within striking distance. Better bring your A game and Lisinski's Legends, as well as whatever that disaster of a team name is. 2-3, still in the running. The 1-4 teams, myself included, in Type of Lewis. Type of Lewis can't lose, but he can lose because he's lost 4 times, just like me. So, yep, that's not looking good for us. Frank Drebin Conference, we got the number 2 team in the nation, Play with Mike Gitka, the number 12 team, the Donkey Punchers. But here's what's unique about this division/conference. Play with Mike Ditka has a 2-game edge on everyone else there. So there's a 5-0 team, but there are no 4-1 teams. So things are looking really good for Tony Cromwell and his new team name. He's got 419 points, so he's looking good in points. Obviously, he's 2-0 in division. So we'll be watching this. Teams that are on the, but I mean, not so good for the Donkey Punchers because there's a lot of teams that are 3-2 here. So anything can happen. It's still fairly early in the season. We're not quite halfway done. We'll be halfway done with the regular season after this week. So, but again, a lot of things can happen because all the games from here on out are conference play. So if you've never done this before and you're 1-4, don't be discouraged. A lot of things can happen still. Plus, you know what I'm saying? Like, you may be 1-4, but you haven't used any players, and then at the end, you're like, I got to get desperate, so you start throwing out super lineups, and you'll be surprised what can happen. So do not give up. Never give up. And while I'm on the subject, as I'm going to scroll down to the Brody Bruce Conference, the playoff system in this, people love it, or people love it. Not very many people hate it because it's brilliant. It's something that's been in our regular fantasy league for years, keeps owners interested. At the end of the year, there are chances to get in based on how many wins you have via a lottery system. So even if you have 1 win, you could make the playoffs. In fact, I think maybe it was last year, a team that only had 2 regular season wins made it to the playoffs and made it to like the Elite 8. So it was pretty wild. That's why you got to keep setting your lineups, because if you get blacklisted twice in the same season, you're blacklisted from the playoffs. So Brody Bruce Conference, here we go. Tenacious D, Granny's Baloney Curtains, and Steel City Sackers, all 4-1. This is the conference to watch, ladies and gentlemen. 4, 6, and 8. Who do we appreciate? All of you owners, because 4-1 at this point, 3 people at the top, and then you have 4, 3-2 teams. So look at the number of ranked people here. I'm pointing at the screen like you can see my finger. You have 5 ranked teams. That's good for number 1 in the league here. Super close. I mean, 3-2. Front 7 and Zeke's relationship corners, they might not have a number in front of their team, but they're still in the running. What's not good for this is New Orleans Rock Chalk's Password is Taco and TD's Right Meow are 1-4. So they're quite a ways from the top in this. But again, it's early. A lot of things can happen, so do not give up. Let's take a look at the player stats here, see who's been started the most here through 5 weeks in the season. We like to do this every week. The little section we like to call who's been started the most this season. All right. I don't know why you can't sort it by this, but Roethlisberger, they used to call him Rapelessberger, Trump's old buddy himself, #1 most started player, quarterback. We've got Phillip Rivers, 29 starts. Drew Brees, 26 starts. Matt Ryan, 21 starts. At least they're up in the top. What you don't want to see is occasionally people with a high number down here. We'll see it coming up, trust me, who have been started just haven't done very well. So, yeah, highest scoring average performance, however, though, is going to be Mitchell Trubisky. Whoever started him last week, they made out like a fat rat. And then we have running backs. 45 players, people have started James Conner. They call him the Terminator. Nobody calls him that. Oh, God. Facebook notifications. I thought I turned them off. They keep popping up. I don't know if you saw that or not. Hopefully not. Alvin Kamara. 35 starts. 31 starts for Tevin, don't call me Tevin Campbell Coleman. And 32 starts for Melvin the Martian Gordon. That's the world's worst nickname. Ezekiel Elliott, 17. It shows you how good he's doing, though, because a lot less people have started him than some of these other people, but he's #5. Well, that's Todd Garland. Jesus Christ, I need to get that coffee. Todd Gurley. Todd Garland. Not related to James, I promise. So Christian McCaffrey, 29 starts, going down here. Isaiah Crowell, if you remember the old Madden games. 2 people have started him. How'd that work out for you? 16.325 average. It's pretty good, actually. So, oh, man. Wide receivers. #1 most started wide receiver, Juju. Is he on that beat? He's on the #3 spot, that's for sure. 10.36 points per game, 29 starts. Michael Thomas, Antonio Brown, and Keenan Allen. 2 of those guys are on my actual fantasy team. Golden Tate, 24 starts. Odell Beckham, 24 starts. So, good for you. Nobody cares about tight ends, but we're going to look at them anyway. Come on now. When you get to the 32 starts, that's where you get to like half the people started this guy. Zach Ertz is really close. Eric Ebron, who would have thought this guy would have been anything? The only thing he used to be able to catch was a cold. Whammy. Sounds like I am too. That's not good. Of course, full disclosure, my furnace doesn't work, so it's about 5 degrees up in this bitch. And then Jordan Reed, 26. Read my lips. They're frozen. And place kickers. Oh, my God. Will Lutz. The #1 started kicker is Will Lutz. Not the #1 scoring one, however. Matt Bryant's #1 scoring one statistically. And then averages, we got Kaimi Kilpatrick here, Fairbairn, with 11.6 average. That seems pretty low for a high kicker, but I don't know. Better than a drunk kicker, eh, Peyton Manning? All right, let's move on. I got to do these at a different time because these jokes are just too bad for anybody. Oh, God. All right, the Chargers leading the league here with starts. More than half the league has started them. I don't know. There must be something special about them, or they have a really easy schedule so far. But apparently the results don't look at this because they have the 33 starts and 7.6 points average, which is pretty balls, honestly. And then who's this? The Packers, the #1 scoring defense by average starting points. This is not top performers. This is when people started them, what they scored. You want to see how many points they actually have scored? You hit the player stats button, and then you can sort it. This is like just total fantasy points, not based on how many people have started. So #1 is Patrick rolling with my homies, and then Matt, it's Ryan, not Ryan, 92.17. So that's how you do that in case you're wondering who to start. You want to see who the #1 performers are. This is a different sheet, or page, I should say, than what I was just at. So finally, this is the biggest part of the segment here, or the podcast. Biggest segment in the podcast. The weekly head-to-head matchups. We're going to look down and see what we got going on here. So we've got Uncle Brico taking on the True Blue Wrecking Crew. Now You See Me, Now You Don't, taking on Brady O'Bush. That's a big game. Neither of them are ranked. They're both 2 and 3, but those are 2 quality owners. Even though Now You See Me, Now You Don't got randomized last week. Personal stuff. We love you, Frazier. Hope everything's going well. And then we have Josh Crampton's Tallywhackers, fresh out of the top rankings, taking on Nasty Nutria. This is a big game, folks. Both 3-2. Both were Tallywhackers have been ranked the entire year. Not this week. And Nasty Nutria, 3-2 as well. So that's a big one. That's a big one, because I don't remember if there was a 4-1 team or 5-0 team in that conference, but still. Then we got old Kelly Fowler taking on Apache Chiefs. Kelly Fowler, 2-3, definitely still in the running, taking on Apache Chiefs, the number 1 team in the nation, so that's going to be a good one to watch. Carry On Wayward Son, 3-2, taking on Riverside Raging Rancors, 4-1. Another big game. There's a lot of big games this week, folks. A lot of big games. Team Has No Names, 1-4, taking on Old Papa's Players. Upset alert, maybe, we'll see. Dublin Drunks, as I mentioned, are 3-2, taking on Your Mother Likes My Defense. That is old Alan Harvey, number 11 in the nation, so a couple 3-2 teams there. Collector Kings, Danny Lane, 2-3, taking on Malin Incorporated. Paul J. Ward, 1-4. We're going to scroll down here. We've got, let's see, anything else looking good here? Oh, this is big. Melissa's Meatballs, 4-1, taking on Is That Your Final Answer, 3-2. That's battle for first place in that conference, if you remember correctly. They're number 1 and number 2. And the winner will have the tiebreaker, so that's a huge game. Trump Up the Volume taking on Andrew Brown. Anything else good going on here? Let's see. Lisinski's Legends are 2-3 taking on Squadrels. The Black Hole taking on the Shamrocks. That's a good game. 5-0 versus 3-2. The world's 2 longest nicknames. I Like Flaccaroni and Cheese taking on whatever this monstrosity is, Tony Lay. Nah, it's a battle of the I don't want to say bums, because they're not bums. They're not bums. I like beer, Senator. They're not bums, Senator, I promise you. They just have weird names. And then we have, let's see, anything else going on here? Cheechki, Harris, 3-2. Watch out for them. They'll sneak up on you. Taking on Play with Mike Ditka. That's going to be a good game. And then we have Front 7, 3-2, taking on Dustin Hansen's number 8. Yep, this is the best week of matchups I've ever seen, I think. So, a lot of good games. Make sure you get your stuff in. And, of course, the only game featuring 2 ranked teams are number 13 and number 14 is Corey Dole takes on Ryan Frazier's Vicinabox. So, that's the game of the week officially, even though I think maybe Melissa's Meatballs versus Is That Your Final Answer, or even whatever this other one was I said. Where the hell was it? Tallywhackers versus Nasty Nutria. So many tight games. Oh my God, please put your lineups in. It would be an absolute shame if people got randomized this week. But it does happen, unfortunately. So, well, there you have it, folks. I believe that's the end of this podcast. I appreciate you all being here. I'm sorry these are coming out on Sunday lately, but been a little busy. So get your lineups in, and if you need anything, let me know.